What ho, chaps? How the devil? Hope everyone had a good weekend. My missus was off visiting the mother-in-law, so frankly, I'm amazed I'm still here. I've been living off a diet of Cheetos, Lucky Charms, and cans since she left. Probably got scurvy. Blue Van Man treated the wife to a meal. Yeah, I should have went out to eat. Ah, well. Bootneck's got many talents. Cooking is not one of them. My dad always told me, doesn't matter what your missus looks like, doesn't matter, he says, get an ugly one, they appreciate you. That was the first bit of advice he gave me. Obviously, he said this in earshot of my mother. I just remember her hitting him with a slipper aggressively because he was made a point about if you marry an ugly woman, they appreciate you more. And then he said, make sure she can cook. Doesn't matter if she's howling, terrible personal hygiene, IQ of a flip-flop. Make sure she can cook. So I took that advice to heart. And my missus, fortunately, she isn't howling, but she can fucking cook. And the first time I ever put one of her dishes in my mouth, I went, I think we should get married. Yeah, good idea. And even when she came to England and didn't know how to cook any of the things that we like to eat, she learned. She's got a talent for it. So yes, it's been Cheetos and cereal since she left. Tell you what though, I'm partial to cereal. It's not good for you at all. And it's another good example of the sort of sneaky shit they get up to when they're trying to sell you stuff in it. Because I remember when I was a babe, they were always going on about how good cereal was for you. Remember, fortified with vitamins and iron. The lying bastards. It's proper bad for your cereal, isn't it? If you eat half a box of Frosties every couple of days, you basically get tits. There's nothing good about it. It's massively high in sugar and salt. And like, for example, when I was a kid, I used to love Cocoa Pops. Remember Cocoa Pops? I even remember, I think I must have been a teenager at this point. Do you remember when they had like a massive public campaign because they changed the name of Cocoa Pops? And the song went from, I'd rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pops. It changed to Choco Krispies. Does anybody remember that? I don't know what year it was. But suddenly it started going, I'd rather have a bowl of Choco Krispies. And everyone was like, what's this here? I don't give my consent for Cocoa Monkey to be singing about Choco Krispies. And then we had a big vote. And then Cocoa Pops won and it went back to being Cocoa Pops. Genius marketing ad campaign. So I felt strongly about that. I think I was more invested in the Cocoa Pops Choco Krispies debate than I was in any of the general elections. Because general elections, you basically know that you're getting a human toilet running the show anyway, aren't you? Cocoa Pops and Choco Krispies, I was into that. I was into that debate. Yeah, great. That's Tony the Tiger. Have you ever seen, I used to laugh, Morrison's own brand ones. He's called like Toby or Terence or something. And he wears a flat cap. And on the advert, he's like, they're grand, lad. Grand. With 6 R's. Weetabix, they were good as well when I was a kid. I loved the Weetabix cartoons. Them like sort of, there's a lot of giveaways, didn't there? You used to get loads of cool shit in cereal when you were a kid. Don't know why I'm talking about cereal for so long. One funny thing I will say about that, I remember, I used to get really good prizes in your cereal when you were a kid. I remember once I wanted some raisin splits because they had Asterix and Obelix stickers on. I loved Asterix when I was a kid. Really good books then. And it's good reading as well when you go through them. Again, this is why kids are thick now, isn't it? Because they just go on tablets and get their minds melted. When I was like 8, 9, 10, I used to read Asterix. Remember, I had loads of them in primary school. Whenever the book club was my dad would let me pick one like twice a year or whatever, when the book club used to come out in school. I used to always get an Asterix book. And they were classed them Asterix books. You used to learn stuff about history as well. Like you actually read, I've went back and read them in my 30s, and I really thought they're genuinely entertaining. Like they're funny and they're surprisingly, you learn a lot of good stuff from them. Learn all about the Roman Empire and basic geography. There's a lot of good history in there. Asterix in Britain's a great one where they drive the chariots on the wrong side of the road and they all drink tea. Yeah, as Mr. Matlow says, I went after anything referred to as split. Chubbs loves that term, doesn't he? But But I got these raisin splits, right, because I wanted asterisks and obelisk stickers, and my dad knew I didn't like them. And he was like, "You don't like raisins?" I went, I do. And he went, "Go on then, but you better eat them." And I was like, yeah. Got him. He knew what was coming. As soon as we got in the house, I was like, "Can I have a bowl of cereal?" He went, "Of course you can, son." I opened it, got the stickers out, started playing with them on the back of the box. Didn't eat cereal. He come in 2 minutes later, was like, "Go on, then eat your cereal." I was like, "Don't like them." He went, "Get it fucking out," and then proceeded to force me to eat the fucking things. And I just remember that day goes down in infamy. The pleasure I got from the stickers lasted about 10 seconds, and then I just remember crying my eyes out for about 20 minutes like that, eating raisin splits while my dad glowered at me. I fucking hate his raisins as well. I still don't like them to this day. And I think it's because my old man forced me to eat a big fat bowl of them, and then they sat in the cupboard for a month, and then I think my mum binned them. But yeah, fucking horrible bastard. Raisin. I still shudder at the memory. Anyway, right, we'll stop talking about cereal now and do some news, shall we? I've had to put it off a little bit because there's so much went on this weekend. There's a lot of shit I have to. There's a lot of shit I have to go through. I might not get it all done in a one, so I'll save some for tomorrow. Right, first things first. Snap, crackle, and pop. The elves have been cancelled. Yeah, no one wants to do any work anymore. This generation didn't like them because they were go-getters. Them elves they were the patriarchs of a capitalist society. Now they're called "Who cares? Fuck it and do one." that's the snap. That's the Rice Krispie elves now. Who cares? Fuck it and do one. And one of them's got a dress on and a coach ball fired through his fucking nose. Right, anyway, let's do some news. This one, right, is the nice fluff piece before I get into the serious stuff. Because, this is why we can't have nice things, isn't it? I hate the way we've got almost as litigious as the Americans. When I was a bairn, we used to slag off the Americans. I remember being like, again, in primary school, I remember being like 10 and laughing because we used to say, "Oh, there was a woman in America who sued McDonald's because the coffee was hot, it's fucking coffee." Or, "Oh, there's a woman in America whose house got burgled and she got sued by the burglar because he cut his hands on the glass in a window." And I used to think as I grew up that it was all bollocks. And they were just sort of making them up or maybe picking the worst ones that you'd ever heard of just to sort of scaremonger. But we've gone exactly down the same stupid road. And I know this story's in the United States, but Britain's getting there, isn't it? With this ridiculous litigious society that it ruins everything. People don't sort of realize how bad it is, that it ruins every fucking thing. Again, nobody's got any principles anymore. If there was never any malice intended, you shouldn't be suing people. I remember my old man telling me about this after my mum died because he told me that one of our uncles, Cyril, we used to call him Cyril Sneer because he was like, he was meant to be the greedy one in the family who'd never give everyone anything. And he said, "Oh yeah, you can sue the NHS, because I think they found a lump in a tit mega early. She got one lopped off, and then they said, "Oh, we got it so early, you don't need any aftercare." And then she didn't get any aftercare or radiotherapy or chemo or anything like that. And then years later, it turned out she was riddled with it, and it fucking killed her. So I remember him saying to him, "Oh, you should sue the NHS. You can get some money out of this." And I remember my dad saying to me, "There's no point in that, son, because it doesn't bring anybody back. And if you think money's going to patch the hole in your heart, well, it's not going to. And ultimately, the NHS is taxpayer funded, and that money's got to come from somewhere. Money isn't. It doesn't just appear from thin air, unless the lunatics who are running the world are printing it, of course. Sort of does then. But he said, there's no point. She's gone now. There's no point in getting any money for it. You just get on with your life." My father again put that into me, that you should only want to spend money that you've earned, because it feels good when you spend it. You earned that. If you buy something that you earn with your labor, it feels good. If you're just a parasite, like so many people are nowadays, you don't realize what it costs you. It's like people talk about karma. I don't believe in any of that mystical nonsense, but it costs you something being a parasite. And this is just more of the same. Like, if there's no malice intended, just let it lie. I remember getting rear-ended once when me and my missus were driving back from a brewery in Yorkshire. We stayed the night. It's the Great Yorkshire Brewery. I forget the name of the town it's in now. A little one on the way to Whitby when you're driving from York. And stayed over the night in a hotel, and then driving home the next morning. It was pissing down the rain. I got rear-ended by some lass going quite fast on a big slope across the North Yorkshire moors in the pissing down rain. And she was obviously right up my ass. And I tapped the brakes to slow down because I was turning left. And she skidded into me, put the brakes on, going too quick, skidded in the rain, bumped into the back of me, probably only doing about 20 miles an hour by the time she hit me. So it didn't right the car off. It just smashed the back bumper a bit. And yeah, there was quite an aggressive bang there. And when I got out, she was crying because, yeah, women cry a lot. Apparently, if you say that, you're denying reality, right? Remember that? Women, that Northern Irish manager who had to apologise for saying women are more emotional than men. Have you ever got in a car accident and a bloke instantly burst into tears for no reason? Me either. But I get out and she was crying. And I went, oh, it's all right, love. Don't worry about it. Says no one's injured. Her car was pretty fucked. Like, the front was fucked. Mine was just a smashed bumper. And she was crying. And I was like, calm down. Nothing to worry about. Nobody's injured. Mrs. is all right. I said, we can crack on. And don't worry about anything. I said, I'm a bootneck. I won't be suing you. I don't do that. It's fine. It'll cost you now. The insurance company phoned me. So she must have rang it in straight away. And said, do you want a courtesy car? I didn't even get the courtesy car because I didn't need one. I was living in New York at the time. I used to walk to work. I said, you know what? I don't even need one. I'll get my bumper fixed. It'll take them 3 days. I'll just walk to work. I don't need a courtesy car. I don't need fuck all off yous. I didn't sue anyone. I didn't, because I'm not a parasite. How many people can you say that of nowadays? Nowadays, people get rear-ended. They're like, ooh, whiplash. Ooh, couple of grand there. It's like, have some self-respect, first of all. But this guy is just a fucking worm. Seriously, let's go through the story for, again, morbid curiosity. A Kentucky man was awarded $450,000 after his company threw him a surprise birthday party, despite him telling them it would trigger his stress and anxiety. So he's obviously gone, oh, no, I get stressed from surprise birthday parties. And they've gone, he's been a pussy, he'll enjoy it. Threw a party for him. Kevin Burling, absolute fucking parasite, says the unwanted birthday party caused him a series of panic attacks. His lawsuit alleged the company discriminated against him based on a disability. So if you're a fucking whiny pussy, you've got a disability nowadays. This is why we can't have nice things. Do you think Gravity Diagnostics will be nice enough to throw birthday parties for the staff ever again? In fact, the reverberations will probably go around the whole fucking world. And as we know it, surprise birthday parties will be a thing of the past. So nobody can have nice things anymore. I'm assuming everybody in here would like to have a surprise birthday party. I've only ever had one in my life. Again, I'm not a sentimental man, and I didn't expect it at all. Totally fucking surprised me. It was for my 40th. And my missus invited all my mates, hired a boozer in York. And when we got in, they're all there waiting for me. Didn't suspect a thing. It was fucking brilliant. Dead good, that. Surprise birthday parties are mint. So now they're going to go the way of the fucking dodo because once again, one parasite doesn't care about the ramifications. He just wants his bit. So because Kevin Burling wants $450,000 for doing nothing, everyone has to suffer. According to the lawsuit, he suffers from anxiety disorder and asked his manager not to celebrate his birthday, as they normally do for their employees, as it could potentially result in bringing back uncomfortable childhood memories. Fuck me. I'll tell you what, I've just got a good one. Next time anyone gives me a raise and they're getting fucking sued, I'll be on a flight and someone will go, you want to have a snack? Cheers, mate. Get halfway through the bag. There's a raisin in there. Oh, my God. This brings back horrific childhood memories of being cross-legged on the living room floor, force-fed raisin splits whilst crying and looking at my forlornly at my asterisk stickers. You horrible bastards. Oh, God, I'll tell you what, I've just had, right, 450,000, please. Pay up. Pay up, you bastards. Um, the lawsuit notes Mr. Berlin was confronted and criticised at a meeting the following day as he was accused of stealing his co-worker's joint and being a little girl. Yeah, you are being a little girl. The tense meeting prompted a second panic attack, after which the company sent him home for the remainder of August 8th and 9th. Fucking what a twat. A second panic attack. It said a few days later, they fired him, saying they're concerned about workplace safety. He said they discriminate against him because of his disability and unfairly. Listen, they fired you, mate, because you're just a whiny pussy and nobody wants to work with you. 300 grand for emotional distress. Emotional distress. Emotional distress. I wouldn't need $300,000 for emotional distress if I was walking home from the pub one night and I got dragged into an alley by 20 Somalian pirates and gang raped. I wouldn't need 300 grand for emotional distress. You know what I need? $10 for a pack of frozen peas that I would clasp between my ass cheeks for a couple of hours, and half a bottle of cheap gin. I think that'd be me sorted. So yeah, $300,000 for emotional distress, unfucking believable. Gravity Diagnostics said they didn't do it, and they haven't yet commented on the outcome of the lawsuit. And the chief operating officer, Julie Brazil, told news outlet Link NKY that they stood by its decision to terminate him because he's a fucking dickhead. She said violated a workplace violence policy, probably got aggressive. My employees were the victims in this case, not the plaintiff. She said there was no evidence that he posed a threat to anyone at Gravity and that would warrant being fired. He had a panic attack, that's all, and because representatives from the firm did not understand his panic response. Oh, okay, did not understand his panic response. So he probably flipped out and went fucking mental. So they fired him because he's a scary, creepy fucking weirdo. And then now he's got 450 grand winning. It said, assuming that people with mental health issues are dangerous without any evidence is discriminatory. People that are mental, right? Apparently you're a prick if someone's visibly mental and you're a little bit perturbed by it. So the next time, ladies, you're out walking on your own and you see a homeless man, a gibbering lunatic, spinning on his heel outside a bus shelter going, a raving hobo, just fucking walk up to him. All right, mate, I've been told that you shouldn't discriminate against mental people. Do you want to fucking hug, you cunt? Go on, see how you get on. See how you get on. Yeah, young teenage girls walking home from school. If you see a crusty, psychotic, mentally ill homeless man talking to his invisible fucking friend or having what appears to be a thrilling intellectual conversation with his own fucking feet. Have a chat with him. See how you get on. Yeah, winner. So there's a terrible fucking story. There's your fluff piece before we get into the serious note. Basically, you have to do this, right? Because I'm thinking, if my nemesis, Susan, I haven't done Susan for a while. If my nemesis sort of glances at the first 5 minutes of my video, she won't see me discussing the meat of the issue. This is how I get around it. This is how you get around the bans when you want to talk about normal things. Right? You use loads of euphemisms, never use any words that sound a bit foreign, never use the I word or the M word, and hide them in the middle of a live stream. And then you can just about get away talking about it. This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. We can talk all you like about gender fluidity, but you can't talk about the fucking gigantic elephant with a spiky dildo on in the middle of the room, right? So now we can get down to the good stuff, which is, I'm sure you all expected it. It's been a fucking busy weekend. Here we go. Right. Try and blow that out a bit. So hopefully when they're scanning the screen for verboten words, they'll probably go, if they see that Q word, they'll go, bap, 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 wop, 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 evil okay. And then the fucking Susan's SWAT team will kick my fucking door down and then rape me with the broom shank. Well, hopefully we've done enough padding to get around it. But again, like I've said, ISIS are allowed to make as many fucking videos as they like. Right, that militant black supremacist who filled a load of Asian people with fucking lead on the subway He's all right to make his YouTube videos. He can do what he wants. He can make his videos saying that, Whitey was created in a cave by Dr. fucking Moreau. We shouldn't even be on the same continent. And he can go on his grenade and Glock 19 rampages. But, I'm not allowed to. I've got to tiptoe around the big issues of the fucking day. You couldn't make it up, could you? Right, so let's get down to this, did we? Let's get down to this, shall we? Dozens arrested at Sweden riots sparked by planned burning. The burning of, they tried to burn the Gruffalo, beloved children's book, the Gruffalo. Right. More than 40 people have been arrested after violent clashes in Sweden between police and people angry at plans. People angry at plans. So, again, they're trying to obfuscate this straight away, right? The people angry at plans by a far-right group who wanted to burn a very specific book, right? It's not just people. It's a very specific group of people who follow a very specific ideology and that wasn't really native to Sweden. Would these riots be occurring if Sweden hadn't advocated the same loony left policies that the rest of the Europeans have for the last 40 years and decided it was a fucking brilliant idea to import thousands and thousands and thousands of unvetted, hairy, scary fellas? Would it be a problem? I'm just putting it out there. I know this is, I'm sure Priti Patel and Merkel and fucking Macron and all these much cleverer people than me. So they must have thought of this first. But I'm just putting it out there. If we hadn't imported thousands of hairy-arsed fellas, would there be an issue? Now, Yakub's put up a good point there, which I'm going to agree with. Yakub, I do not think anybody should be burning a holy book. Nearly said a Q word there. I agree with Yakub there. I don't think we should revel in purposely offending religious people. As I've said, when I was a young man in my 20s, I was a chippy atheist wanker, and I used to take pleasure in offending religious people, right? You shouldn't do that. But this is the important thing, right? Again, the point of me telling you this story is, first of all, we know what the real crux of the issue is. And it's importing fighting age men that we can't vet. Because when they're not vetted, you're not getting people who apply legally, who, like I said, when I was a kid in the 80s, you'd get like a Nigerian lad came to our school when I was about 12, Femi he was called. And his dad was like a doctor. One of my best mates in primary school was an Indian kid, Neil. And his mum and dad were both doctors. Like, you were vetting people and you were getting highly skilled workers. When we just started importing anyone with a cock, with no fucking vetting procedures, you went from having high quality migrants to low quality migrants. And this is a known fact to anybody that isn't a fucking maniac, right? I wouldn't advocate importing 20,000 fighting age men from fucking Leeds, right? Let's pretend Middlesbrough was its own town, right? We declared independence from the rest of the UK and said, no. We can run our own shit better than you guys. And we built a massive wall around Middlesbrough and said, this is now the independent Republic of Middlesbrough and nobody's allowed in. I wouldn't advocate importing thousands of fighting age men from Leeds, because young men are the fucking most effort to deal with. Thanks to all these biological traits that the left deny, men are hard work, especially young men. This is why you never get a 55-year-old suicide bomber. Young men are hard work. The high energy, they've got a lot of testosterone, there's a lot of neurological things going on in the brains there. Blokes are hard work. Any parent will tell you, raising a child, a girl, is usually so much easier than a boy. Boys are high energy, high aggression, loads of testosterone, they're hard work. So I wouldn't advocate, you know what I mean? If we needed workers in the independent Republic of Middlesbrough, I would want to bring in skilled workers that were heavily vetted. So I'd say this bloke from Leeds wants to move to Middlesbrough. I want to check he hasn't got any criminal convictions. I want to do a credit report because that's how when I recruit, the number one thing for me is credit score. If I'm recruiting in America, if someone's really good with the money, the high conscientiousness. I've talked about this before. I am highly conscientious. I'm never late for work. I'm always dressed correctly. I do my job properly. It's because I've got a conscientious personality. So vetting people is important. I'd check the credit scale, the credit history, check they've never pointlessly sued people. Yeah. Check they always paid the debts. If you fucking spent the money, pay it back, you scruffy twat. I want to check their employment history. I want to check the tax history. I want to definitely check they're not a pedo or a criminal. You'd need to do a lot of checks. And this is what I'm saying. I would do these checks if I was importing from the rest of Britain. If I was bringing young men in from the rest of Britain, I would aggressively vet them, right? So you are damn fucking sure that I'm vetting young, aggressive men that are coming in from fucking third world countries where they don't grow up watching Sesame Street and it's a dog-eat-dog society and they're a lot more poor and they're a lot more... I mean, think about it. Again, middle-class arseholes are the way they are because, yeah, they've never had to struggle. The harder your life is, the more likely you are to be a bit of a miscreant. That's just a fact. If you had to struggle for every meal you ever had, you're going to be more likely to, if you find a wallet on the floor in England, it's a dog-eat-dog world, fuck it, I'm keeping it, right? If a little old lady finds your smartphone, she'll probably answer it when you ring her and say, hey, I found it, dear, I'll give you it back. If he's a 20-year-old Marley and he's been skint his whole fucking life, he's probably going to keep it. These things are inexorably linked and everybody knows it, but nobody will talk about it because it's not politically correct to say it. A middle-class arsehole is more likely to return your stolen wallet to you than a 19-year-old bloke from fucking Somalia. And it's nothing to do with his race. It's because of the fucking rough background. The fact that he grew up economically deprived. If you've never missed a meal and you've already had loads of, and you've always had plenty of cash, you don't keep the wallet. I fucking don't. I'm conscientious. I've got fucking cash saved up. I'm not poor. I'm not starving. I'll find a wallet. I hand it in. Well, don't hand it in because I don't trust the coppers, but I'll keep it and I'll do whatever it takes to try and get it back to the person. I found a wallet at the bus stop in Middlesbrough. And it still had a driving license and about 40 quid in it. So I walked to the house. It was about 200 yards up the road. And I knocked on the door and I gave them the wallet back. If I was a skint young lad from Afghanistan and I'm living on benefits and I've got no fucking money, probably keep the wallet and steal the fucking money, wouldn't you? Again, you almost can't blame them. We're all products of our surroundings. Why is this complicated? Why is this strange to people? Do you know what I'm saying? I handed the wallet in because I didn't need the money. If you're broke and you've always been broke, you were dragged up in the slums of fucking Dakar, then you're probably going to keep it. It's not because you're an awful, despicable person or there's something about your race. It's because it's common fucking sense. But you can't talk common sense to fucking people, woke people that don't have any. Anyway, So regarding this is what I'm talking about to address Yakub's point. The issue isn't about it's good to purposely offend religious people. It isn't, right? You shouldn't purposely offend Jews and Christians or the followers of Mighty Mo, the epileptic desert dwarf. Nobody should be purposely offended. But if we hadn't forced such blatant censorship upon the general public, if we hadn't endlessly kowtowed to the fucking aggression and threats and menacing from this fucking group, nobody would want to burn a book. Do you understand that? This is where the rubber meets the road. Anyway, I'll read you the story and then I'll continue the rant. So 3 people were injured in Nordkopping when coppers fired shots at rioters. The violence was sparked by a series of rallies by the Danish politician Rasmus Paludan. He said he's burned one and he wants to do it again. Alan's lads consider that book to be sacred and any intentional damage to it is deeply offensive. The Saudis condemned it and said it's an incitement. And Iran and Iraq summoned the Swedish ambassadors. So this is unbelievable. The whole reason that it shouldn't cause this much of a stir when one bloke who's being a bit of a prick, obviously, his purpose is trying to offend them. One bloke's been a bit of a prick. So what? The fact that the Saudis and the Iranians and the Iraqis are going, fucking hell, get the ambassadors over a bastard book is the problem. Ultimately, the followers of that specific religion need to fucking grow up and put on the big boy pants and say, listen, if you don't believe in it, you're going to hell. Yeah? You're a fucking idiot. You should believe in it, like we do. And we 100% believe in it. Just like the Baptist preachers who are toppers with fucking Jesus juice, just like they devoutly believe it, and just like the Orthodox 4B2s with the curly fucking sideys believe it. The world is big enough for us all. You do you, fellas. But what you don't have the right to do is fucking threaten, assault, attack, and abuse people that disagree with you. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in any of it. You don't have the right to tell me because you believe in a fucking space wizard, I'm not allowed to think that's a load of bollocks. And I would treat that book the same way as I'd treat any book. I'd probably read it while I'm having a shite. I mean, that's where I put the books I'm not interested in. Yeah, someone gives me a Christmas present I don't want to read. It's like, fuck it, throw it next to the shitter. I'm allowed to do that. This is what I'm getting at, right? So I'm not saying it's a good thing that this guy wants to burn the fucking thing. Of course it isn't. There's no need to deliberately antagonize religious people. But the point is, this guy wouldn't want to burn the fucking book if we hadn't spent the last 30 years pandering to them. If when the fucking Swedish cartoons came out, everybody just reprinted the cartoons instead of pandering and allowing these people to intimidate constantly. Like Winston Churchill says, what did he famously say? You don't fucking placate a crocodile by hoping it'll eat you last, or something along them lines. I'm paraphrasing. Think about it. It's so obvious. You don't ever placate a bully. When a bully is bullying, you have to stand up to them and say, fuck you. And we've spent 30 years letting one very specific religious group have their fucking cake, eat it, and then blow the cunt up. Yeah, have the cake, eat it, and then blow the clown up. Right? There's no need for us to be doing this. And of course, I don't agree with burning the book, but the book wouldn't be getting burned if we hadn't have rolled over and took it up the fucking shit box for 30 years straight. And that is a fact. Now, all hell's broke loose. They imported a load of fucking fighting age men that they should never have imported. And we've been saying for 20 fucking years, it's all going to end in tears. It's not going to be a good idea. There's loads of fighting age men that we can't vet from poor countries with dodgy backgrounds, and we're bringing them all over in fucking droves, and it's going to end in tears. And the woke said, no, it'll be fine. Diversity is strength. F. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Like I've said, yeah, is it strength, really? Everybody's totally different, disagrees, and fucking doesn't like each other. You've got all these warring ideologies. Oh, that's strength. Yeah, of course it is. Military works as a unified formation, focused with purpose, with determination, with a mission that everybody agrees and everybody follows. That's strength. That's strength. It's like the molecules in something dense, right? Like a lead. It's boomf, all packed together, focused, determined, same way, all the same. Diversity is like confetti. Everyone just does their own fucking thing. Think what you like, do what you like, be what you like. It's not fucking strength. And anybody who's got the IQ higher than 2 sausage rolls knows what I'm fucking talking about. It's bollocks. All they've got is bollocks. Endless, pointless, trite, petty taglines that sound good in fucking hashtags on Twitter. Diversity is strength. It doesn't make sense. You might as well tweet, AIDS breeds strength. AIDS is strength. What, do you feel better, do you, Freddie Mercury? It doesn't fucking breed strength, you thick twat. It's not like getting a fucking vitamin C booster, is it? Jesus Christ. Again, it makes me laugh that I've got to bring this stuff up. Like, of course, it's inherently illogical. Of course, everybody disagreeing about everything all the time doesn't breed strength, you fucking moron. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Dumbest shit I've ever heard. Smashing your face in with a brick breeds strength. Does it? Nah, not really. No, not really. Just fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Popeye. Eat spinach, yeah. Imagine Popeye. I'm strong to the finish because I smashed my face in with a brick. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. That's about how logical the diversity of strength argument is. Where everybody disagrees about everything and fucking hates and can't agree on anything. Just fight all the time amongst themselves. Yeah, definitely breeds strength, that. Yeah. Fucking nice one. And wearing 12 masks at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, that helps you breathe better. That helps you breathe better, that. Everyone knows it. Fuck me backwards. So anyway, it's fucked. It's fucked. Swedish people, yeah, sorry to say, lads, you get what you deserve, don't you? You get what you deserve. Like I said, democracy fucking works. So you don't get angry about it. It's just clown world and you find it funny, right? The Swedes have been voting left-wing governments in for fucking years. So they've done what they said they were going to do. Again, I always attack you, Geordies. So Stevie Ray and his brother, I'm sorry, lads, but I have to have a pop at the Geordies. I told you, I always bring this up. One of my mates in the car was a Geordie. I remember him going home in about 2008, and he come back and he was going, fucking hell, man. You should see the state of the tune. You cannot go anywhere without seeing like massive gangs of Somalian blokes, and they're all outside Greg's, and the different one is selling sausage rolls, and the fucking can't get into Booze Buster, and I can't get a doctor's appointment, I can't get a dentist's appointment, I can't get, and all the fucking traffic's shocking. Well, you voted for it, mate. You voted for it. You've been voting for daft lefty arseholes for 30 fucking years. So you got what you asked for, lads. You got what you asked for. Stevie Ray, yeah, sorry, mate. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I think the only real tragedy is when you live in an area that's been right-wing or conservative for fucking decades and they keep getting migrants coming in, because how it should work, it should be by county. It should be by county. Scotland, Britain, England has been voting conservative. They might not be conservative, but at least they're called conservative and they pretend to be conservative when the elections go around, right? Scotland should be absolutely swimming in these people because they fucking voted for it. If the SNP wants to diversity, strength, everything, we are perfectly within our rights to put fucking every single conservative area should be like, we don't want any. We voted for none. Every election, we voted for less fighting age men. Thank you very much. The Labour areas voted for more. So we should fucking divide it up by county. And if you're in somewhere conservative in like Cornwall, you should get all your fucking immigrants and send them all to the red areas because they want them. Send them all to Wales. Send them all to Scotland. Because do we not care about the will of the people? I'm a Democrat. I'm not, by the way, Susan, I'm not saying anything bad about fighting age hairy ass men who you can't vet. I'm just saying, if there's one area of the country that says we don't want any hairy ass fighting men we can't vet, and there's one area that says we fucking love hairy ass fighting age men we can't vet, Sheffield's another good one. Fucking mayor was a full-on, the fucking mayor was a jihadi, wasn't he? Send them all to Sheffield. The right-wingers should just send them all to the red areas. SNP, Plaid Cymru, Lib Dem, Greens, send them all. Let's do it, let's do it, but let's really make democracy work and send them where they want to go. So Sweden, sorry to say, just like the Geordies, well, you're getting what you voted for, lads. Anders, you can't complain, mate, because that's what you lads have been voting for. Stockholm. I went to Malmo, seen a bird out there years ago. I went to Malmo 2 or 3 times. Fucking bit rough. Definitely not as nice as I thought it was going to be. Guess why? Well, yes, it's those aforementioned hairy-assed, unvetted fighting age men. So, yeah, you get what you voted for, lads. Well done. Well done, lads. You get what you voted for. Here's to democracy. Nice one. Nice one. The system works. 26 police officers and 14 members of the public have been injured, and at least 20 vehicles have been fucking blew up. 200 people involved in the violence. Some of it was criminal gangs. Some of the individuals known to police. I bet they fucking are. Sunday's violence came after Rasmus Paludan said he planned to hold a rally there, and he never even turned up in the city. So he's fucking playing a blinder, isn't he? He's just going, you know what? We need to wake up the rest of the population. So what I'll do is I'll antagonise the fuckers, and then I won't even rock up. And then they'll set the city on fire for 3 days, winning. That's probably what he's thinking. His party said he cancelled the rally because the Swedish authorities have shown they are completely incapable of protecting themselves and me. And he's right. You know he's right. What are the Swedish police? They're going to be like the Met police, aren't they? Think you can defeat terrorism with fucking harsh language. Don't they? Love Trump's hate. I know what we'll do, lads. Right. Leaflet campaign. Yeah. Like I said, Rimmer on Red Dwarf. I'm thinking we should organise an aggressive leaflet campaign against the thousands of hairy-arsed geezers from the third world with fucking baseball bats and knives. Yeah, cheers then. Put on your sweater, Guardian reader. Put on your nice sweater and organise your march and see how that avails you. 10,000 hairy-arsed blokes with baseball bats. See how you get on, lads. Enjoy your fucking selves. He was talking into a megaphone while holding the book, but his words were drowned out by a priest ringing the bells of a local church in protest. Again, the sheeple, the church. Look at Justin Welby. They haven't got a clue, these loonies. Protests against plans by Stram to burn it have turned violent in Sweden before, as they set cars on fire and shop fronts were damaged in classes. Just constant. 2020. Just about finished rebuilding. Have another pop. Have another pop. Just stop rebuilding, lads. The damage is done. You voted fucking woke for 25 years. The damage is done. Stop rebuilding. There's no point, is there? There's no point wasting everybody's time rebuilding it when every 2 years they're just going to fucking set everything on fire again. Malmo, you might as well just leave it so it looks like fucking Steptoe's yard. Just leave it. Who cares? It's Malmo. So who cares? He was jailed for a month for a string of offences, included, and imagine that, a string of offences included. So is that the worst one? Back when I was a kid, you know, offences were like rape, mugging, burglary, assault, arson, criminal damage. I could reel them off. There's loads of offences. Tell you what, none of them were calling people names, which is ultimately what that is, isn't it? Right? Again, I'm not advocating it. You shouldn't be a prick to anybody. But why is that the worst in his string of offences? People should be allowed to be arseholes. I don't see why that's something you should end up in jail for. If you want to call me a little, hairy, bad-tempered, pasty, short-ass, scruffy twat, you're allowed to do it. Why is it so much worse if you say something that impossibly alludes to your background? You can call me a pasty British wanker, can't you? You can call me a dirty, scruffy, limey fuck, and nobody gives a rat's ass. So why is it something where you should end up in prison? Again, think about it. If you're very small and very fat, it's not nice being called a little fat fuck, is it? So why is that not a problem? But if you say, oh, you're from Somalia, you twat. What, all right, so the guy should be in jail for a month for that, should he? People are fucking mental. This is why people talk about fucking freedom of speech and the woke, because they haven't got an argument. Go, oh, no, you just want to be racist. No, I just think fucking grown-ups should be able to listen to words without demanding people go to prison. So if that's the worst thing he's done, the fucker should never have been in jail in the first place. Yeah, who defines what racism is, Yakub? Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the woke do. And nobody likes them or agrees with them. So that's why we're in this shit. Anyway, that's the end of the story. Plans to stand in Swedish elections in September, but doesn't have the necessary number of signatures. So this whole problem is, like I said, there's two causes. The first cause is we need to fucking vet the people we let in. If we can't vet them, or there's any hint of concern on the behalf of the state that someone we're letting in may prove a security risk, then you don't let them in. We don't err on the side of caution. We err on the opposite. We err on the side of fucking misery. It's like, well, he's 19 and completely unvettable and from a third world country and he's never had any money and we don't know anything about him and he might have a criminal record and we don't even know if he's actually Syrian and we don't know his real name and we don't know how old he is, but fuck it, put him in a maths class with loads of 15-year-old girls. I mean, you couldn't make this shit up if you tried. It's like bad satire. Err on the side of fucking misery. This is why Manchester got blew up. This is why everyone's getting murdered in London. Charlie Hebdo, Bataclan, Madrid, Brussels, fucking you name it. It's because the powers that be don't care about you or your family's lives. And fuck you. They don't care. Blow your wife and kids up. Not my wife and kids. I live in Knightsbridge and go to private school. Not my wife and kids, so I couldn't give a monkey's fart. But yeah, who cares? Who cares, right? Fuck it. So that's issue number one. And issue number two, as I've said, you don't placate a tiger by hoping it'll eat you last. Don't fucking bow to them. What you should say when somebody draws a cartoon, you should say, listen, we shouldn't be drawing mean cartoons. There's no need for us to insult religious people. I don't think it's a good idea. There is no need for it. But you have the right to do it. And they have the right to call you a cunt. The system works. They have the right to call you an ignorant, intolerant prick, and you have the right to be an ignorant, intolerant prick. Easy. What they don't have the right to do is saw your fucking head off with a bastard meat cleaver or set you on fire in a big cage or drop an atomic bomb on you or whatever shit the mad bastards are going to do in the future. So, yeah, stand up to the mob. Stand up. When they threaten journalists or teachers, stand up to the mob. If you don't, then this happens. You get worse and worse and worse. Like I've always said, Michael Howard's famous quote, if you don't listen to the concerns of normal, ordinary working people, you are just creating the next generation of fascists and Nazis. And that's what you get. This would never have happened if we hadn't spent 20 years pandering to all the regulars at Alan's favourite snack bar. You know it and I know it. Two, again, if Bootneck was running the world, none of this shit would have happened because I'd have a nice, sensible, common sense approach to dealing with intolerant bastards, dealing with people that threaten journalists and school teachers, and vetting the people that move to our nations. But sadly, I'm not. So you're in the shit, boys and girls. Right, that'll do you for 1 week, I think. 1 week, 1 day. I'll see all of you bastards tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that was at least somewhat amusing. I know it is hard to do comical political commentary when you're discussing things like this, the death of a fucking continent. But you're after laugh, don't you? You're after laugh. That's all we've got. That's all the poor man has got, his sense of humour and his stoicism. Oh, yeah, Gladstone Park. I left a comment on Paz's chat about that. He took a poll. What should we call it? I said, name it after Keir Starmer, because I think Shitlips Park has a nice ring to it. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening. Toodle fucking pip. Bye for now. Cheers.